Just want to take a couple of minutes to talk to you about our upcoming prayer vigil. Came across an interesting quote by Dr. Martin Lloyd-Jones, who said, "There is nothing we are so bad at all our days as prayer." Prayer is hard. It takes work. It's something that we really have to set ourselves to do. It's easy to come to God with just a grocery list of things we want from God, but it really is another thing to bring ourselves before the Lord and really give ourselves over to God in prayer. John Newton, another person who came to really understand the challenge that prayer is, he said this, that everything we do in the Christian life is easier than prayer. We can do all kinds of things for God. We can fill up our days with a lot of activities, a lot of good works that indeed are good. But what we do in prayer is something that's really very special, and it is so important. And it is something that we really do need to give ourselves over to, because time spent with God shows God and ourselves what matters most. John Knox said that prayer is earnest and familiar talking to God. Another definition I came across is that prayer is a conversation with God. Prayer is the expression of our dependence upon God for everything. It is talking to the Lord like we would talk to a friend, even about the mundane things in life. Prayer requires us to spend time with God. I have found with my children, especially as they are now adults, nothing can replace just spending time together. There is this account in Mark chapter 1 where Mark records for us that Jesus got up very early in the morning and he would seclude himself from the other disciples and he would find a place where he could just pray to God. He made prayer a priority. He put it first. He got alone with his Father and there prayed to the Lord. This is a theme that we see throughout the Gospels of Jesus pursuing a personal and intimate relationship with his Father, even in the busyness of ministry and of life. As the Son of God, he still made his relationship with the Father his number one priority. All through his life and ministry, Jesus was always pursuing this intimacy with God. In Luke 2:49, when Jesus' parents had found him in the temple, after they had lost track of him on their way back to Nazareth, Jesus said to them, "Did you not know that I must be in my Father's house?" Whenever Jesus faced significant decisions or was training his disciples or was dealing with his own emotions or before he faced some of the greatest events in his life, you find him pursuing his relationship with his Heavenly Father in prayer. Prayer is us offering up our souls to God with all our temptations and sins, our groanings and our pain, our passions and desires, and the many needs that we have. Prayer is giving to God our praises and thanksgivings, our expressions of trust and faith, and is how we renew our commitment and devotion to him. Prayer is how we actually move God to work in our lives. It is a mystery. God has ordained ends. God has a plan, and he is carrying out his plan perfectly, but he uses means. And God uses our feeble, childlike prayers to accomplish his purposes in our lives and in the world. James, in James 4, verse 2, he says this, "You have not because you ask not." He goes on to give valuable instruction about prayer, but he reminds us that prayer is what moves God to work in our lives, in our families, in our church, and even in our nation. I was reminded of the power of the prayers of John Knox in this past Sunday sermon. John Knox is the father of Scottish Presbyterian, which also influenced American Presbyterianism. When Mary Tudor, also known as Bloody Mary because of her persecution of Protestants, became queen in 1553, she said, "I fear the prayers of John Knox more than all the assembled armies of Europe." What is God waiting to do in your life, if only you would ask? Lord willing, here at Peace Church, we'll have a prayer vigil November 20th through November 21st, beginning that Friday at 5 p.m. and ending the following Saturday at 5 p.m. We have these prayer vigils in our church to just simply ask God to work in our midst. Will you participate? You can participate by taking one of those 24-hour prayer slots and just gathering together here, maybe by yourself or with a few other people, and just praying. Praying through the prayer cards that will be submitted as well. And you'll have the opportunity to fill out a card or cards the next 2 Sundays, or you can go online and fill out a form, and those forms will be submitted as well. I hope that you'll begin even now praying about our prayer vigil, asking God to prepare us as a church to come before him in prayer, and asking God to work mightily through the prayers of his people. Again, I just love how simply James puts it. You have not because you ask not.